Everything you see here, including this 3D room with the animations and lighting effects, were created using Grok 4.5 in Cursor. This also includes these beautiful animations with all of these elements fading in, and here's something I've never seen anyone cover either. Grok 4.5 is able to generate images in Cursor as well, like all the images you see here. Everyone's kind of talking about Grok 4.5 and the benchmarks, but no one is showing you the proper way to use it. So in this video, we'll start with a blank project, we'll create a website like this, and I'll even show you how to deploy it to production. Now, there are already plenty of videos out there going through the different benchmarks and how this model compares to other flagship models, so I'm not going to waste your time with that. But one thing that does stand out is the cost difference. Grok 4.5 is only $2 for 1 million tokens in, compared to Opus 4.8's $5, and GPT 5.5's $5 as well. And on the upward side, it's only $6 compared to Opus 4.8's $25 and GPT 5.5's $30. And another key difference is it actually uses fewer tokens to achieve similar results to its flagship models, around about 4 times fewer tokens. On similar tasks, I've actually found that Grok is about 17 times cheaper than something like Opus 4.8. And it also performs exceptionally well on the coding benchmarks as well. Now, this model was a combined effort between XAI and Cursor, and it was trained on about 555,000 Memphis GPUs. This infrastructure is owned by SpaceX and Tesla, and this is what made training this model possible. And this model is also blazingly fast because of that infrastructure. Now, there are basically 2 main ways to run this model right now. The one solution is to use Grok Build. This is a CLI tool that was developed by XAI, and it's kind of their native tool for working with these agents. And Grok 4.5 is the default model in this harness. An alternative is to use Cursor. It's got a very clean interface. If you've ever used something like Claude Code or ChatGPT desktop app, you will feel right at home. This is where you can simply have conversations with the agent, and it will build whatever you want using a beautiful user interface. And of course, this also includes an embedded browser, so the agent can actually view and test the app itself. And we will be using Cursor in this video. To get started, go to cursor.com/download. Then simply click on download and then go ahead and install Cursor on your machine. I do want to mention that Cursor is a paid product, like with all of these coding agents. They do have a hobby or a free tier where you get some free inference, but this will not include Grok 4.5. In order to use the Grok models, you will need to upgrade to at least the individual plan. Right, after you open up Cursor, you do need to just sign in with your account. So in the bottom left, there should be an option to sign in. And afterwards, it should look something like this. On the left-hand side, we've got all of our different workspaces. And this is actually a really cool feature. This is where you can easily jump between all the different projects that you're working on. And within each project, you can have multiple agents running at the same time, doing parallel work. Now, I also want to mention that if you prefer an IDE view, that's also possible. You can just click on Open IDE. This will give you a view that a lot of developers will be used to, especially if you've ever used something like VS Code. However, on the right-hand side, you also have this chat window. So you can show and hide that by pressing Ctrl and L, and that will bring up this chat window. Now, of course, from this drop-down, you can select your model, like Cursor or Composer, and simply chat to the agent and do whatever work you want it to do. Now, for our use case, we will be using the agent view, so this view over here. This just makes building apps a lot more accessible for non-technical people as well. So you do not have to be a developer to follow along. Right, so the first thing we need to do is open up a new project. So from this drop down here, let's click on Open Folder. Then I'll simply create a new folder. And now any changes that the agent is going to make to this project will end up in this specific folder. If we ever wanted to view the contents of this folder, we can simply click on this button in the top right corner. We can click on this plus button and click on File. And that will show you all the files that are currently available. And at the moment, we actually don't have anything. This folder is empty. We can actually hide the sidebar by clicking on that button again. Now what we can do is change our model. So you do not want to enable auto mode or max mode. Simply look for this Grok 4.5 entry over here. And next to this, we can click on Edit and change the reasoning effort from low, medium, or high. I'll just go with high reasoning effort. And optionally, you can also enable fast mode. This will speed up the inference, but this is also going to cost a lot more. Right, so at this point, we can tell the agent what we want to build. But I do want to give you a fair warning. I've seen a lot of developers say that this agent is not good at long-running tasks. So after about 30 minutes or so, the agent will actually just crash or stop working or start to make a lot of mistakes. So what I recommend you do is switch over to plan mode. So that way we can actually create an implementation plan and store that plan in the project folder. So if something goes wrong with Grok, we can simply ask Grok to continue working from where it actually left off. So to change into planning mode, we can simply hold Shift and press Tab, and this will take us into planning mode. If we press Shift and Tab again, we'll enable other modes as well, like debugging, multitasking, and ask mode. In planning mode, the agent won't make any changes to the code base yet. It's simply going to have a conversation with us so that we can discuss the app that we're trying to build. So I'm going to provide a prompt like this. Now feel free to pause if you want to copy my prompt, but I'll also share it in the free community, which you can find in the description of this video. We're simply describing this interior design page that we would like to create, with some details around the design system and this 3D element, so this 3D room that we're trying to create as well. And then we're just listing all the other sections that we want on the page. These are not really that important. Let's just go ahead and send this. And speaking of design systems, I've actually created an entire course in my Agentic Coding Masterclass going through the fundamentals of building design systems, to using tools like Google Stitch and Claude Design, to building an enforcing agent that will ensure that the design system is consistent across your entire app. I'll leave a link to Agentic Labs in the description of this video. Alright, so it took like 30 seconds basically, and the plan is already ready. So if we want, we can read through this plan and we can ask the agent to make any changes. So if there's anything we don't like, this is our time to fix this. And it's also giving us the to-do that it's planning to execute. Now, personally, I'm happy with this plan, so I'm simply going to click on build. Now, this is really cool, and this is something I haven't seen people really discuss. Cursor provides a tool to all of its agents that they can use to generate images. I think it might use Nano Banana behind the scenes to generate these images, but this can be incredibly useful for generating stock images for your web apps. And we can actually view those images by clicking on this button. How cool is that? So if you ever feel like your landing pages or your website feels extremely dull, just ask your Cursor agent to generate images. This includes things like avatar images and icons as well, by the way. Cool, so we now have these 3 images that we can use in our app. And another cool use case for this though, is you can actually ask the agent to generate a mock-up of the website beforehand. And then you can use that mock-up to drive the design system and the look and feel of your app. Right, so while the agent is busy, I do want to point out this little button down here. This is showing us that we're currently using 11% of the context window, and the total context window size is only 256,000 tokens. Now, if you've ever used something like Opus or the GPT models, those give you a context window of about 1 million tokens. So 256 is not a lot. And that is really important. Grok 4.5 is meant to be an iterative model. So basically, you shouldn't build one massive solution at once. Start with the foundation and then iteratively start adding more and more features in new sessions. So, build a landing page, get the design system out there, and then for additional pages, create new sessions. Or if you're building a SaaS app or some full stack app, just kind of keep adding one feature at a time. Alright, the agent is done, so let's open this URL. This is not bad for a first pass. We've got our Euro section, and we do have our 3D scene over here. And if we scroll down, we can see all of these different images. Not bad at all. So, of course, we can keep iterating on this. For example, I'll just use my voice for this. This looks really cool. However, I noticed with the 3D scene that it is way too zoomed in. I should be able to see the entire room in a single view, and when I move my mouse over the scene, it should rotate along with the mouse. Right, let's send this. And because this model is so fast, it's actually a pleasure to work with. I mean, it only took a few seconds to make that change. So there is this weird black wall thing here. So let's just go back to Cursor. Right, that looks much better. However, I noticed that there is this weird black wall in front of the camera or towards the right hand side of the 3D scene. Please, can you remove that? Let's send this. All right, Grok is flying through these changes, and let's actually have a look. There we go. So we can already see the result. Now, there are a few other issues, like maybe the TV could be aligned with this cabinet, but you know what? It's so quick and easy to just iterate on this that I could just keep going on forever. Now, once we're happy with the website, we would like to deploy it online so that our clients or visitors can actually view our website. And I'm going to show you one of the easiest ways to deploy your projects to production without having to leave this view at all. We'll simply ask the agent to take our project and deploy it to our hosting company on our behalf. Now, this does involve a little bit of setup. It's really not hard. After this, we never have to go to this website again. Going forward, we'll simply ask our agents to deploy our projects for us. For this, we will use Hostinger. I'll leave a link to this page in the description of this video. So what we can do is sign up for an account. It's super cheap and you can host 50 websites on this specific plan. And they also give you a free domain for the first year. So I'll just go with this plan. Then let's choose our term from just 1 month, 12 months, or 24 months. I'll go with 12 months. And at this point, we can register a free domain, but I'm just going to skip that step for now. And before we go to checkout, you can get an additional 10% off if you use the code Leon Hosting. And then we can continue with the checkout process. Then what we need to do is sign into our dashboard. And under Dev Tools, go to API. Now, Hostinger supports integration with VS Code, Cursor, Claude Code, Codex, so all of the popular agent IDEs. Because we're using Cursor, we can simply click on Cursor. And then what I'm going to do is click on Configure Manually. We just have to ensure that we've got all of these selected: websites, domain and DNS, subscriptions and payments, and email marketing. This will give our agent access to all of these different capabilities. Then, if we scroll down, look for this copy JSON config section and simply copy all of this. Then back in Cursor, go down to your settings, so next to your little profile image, go to Tools and MCPs, then look for this button called Open Customize. Now, I've already connected all of these Hostinger tools, but what you would do is scroll down to New MCP Server. Then I'm just going to enlarge this section over here. For you, this is probably going to be empty, so you can just paste in all of that configuration. We can actually then close this file, and all of those tools will show up over here. Then we can simply go back to our project, and then let's ask our agent, hey there, please can you deploy this project to Hostinger? And you never have to access the Hostinger dashboard ever again. In the future, if you build a new project, all you have to do is ask the agent to deploy it on your behalf, and Hostinger will take your code, it will create commits, and it will push those changes for you and even give you the URL that you need to use to access your website. Now, when you run this for the first time, the agent is going to ask you to authenticate your Hostinger account. It will open up a Hostinger page in the browser, and all you have to do is click on Authenticate. And that was super quick. We now got this URL back. And if we go to that URL, our website is now live. So anyone can view our website using this URL. And of course, we can also register custom domains using the same process. If you found this video useful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more agentic coding tutorials. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.